Hi guys, today I want to talk about the strategy that I found uh, or that I use lately to relax me when things are getting out of my control. That is when other entities, people or circumstances is controlling something that might have a possible negative effect on my life. So most people, they can just switch off and box it for later, but unfortunately my I don't know if it's autistic mind or how I function is I can't. I need to find solutions and figure it out, and I can't stop thinking. So when I wrote Chicken Legs, that is that book, I wrote that book last year or to 2021. I found that when others control something, for example, teachers stopped me from leaving a class when I wanted to. I found that I just did something else to keep me occupied. For example, when the teacher don't want me to leave, I just try to disrupt the teaching. Okay, so as a child, these kind of things that are controlled by others are not that weighted as like when you're an adult. This is probably because there were many things I didn't try it as a kid, and I had this hope, that things will be great. And also, others didn't control me as much, or situations like authorities as much as like when you're an adult. So being an adult is all these negative events controlled by others accumulated into some pessimistic struggling with that feeling of despair over the years. Now when a situation arises, that is controlled by others or something like I need to get a visa, and that is the government. I try to solve this issue, figuring out what I must do, what I mustn't do, and all that. Even though if I sent the application in already, I still think about it nonstop, and we know that there's nothing I can do to fix that situation or solve it. So, but I keep trying it, and it sends me into some meltdown because I come to the same conclusion every time that I can't solve that problem. So best would be if I could just accept that failure and carry on. But how do I switch off? Because my nature, it doesn't allow this. It wants me to fix everything. So I needed to find like a logical strategy that I can use instead of just switch it off, like other people, they just switch off, and I don't know how. For me, it needs to be I need to know that within this issue, I have thought of all the logical options and have used the most appropriate solution. So in this case of things controlled by others, I try to analyze this problem, and I found that this problem has two main controllers that beyond my control. The one controller is number one, God, and the second is random. For example, it's not God, but it just happens randomly. So for the atheists, so in case one, God, God could be either merciful and resolve the situation to my satisfaction, and however, even though it's going to be happy for me, the time of the resolution is unknown. So the issue still remains, what do I do in the meantime until I get this good resolution? Or so in the meantime, what can I do? What I decided, I found when I do things I enjoy, the moments pass more pleasantly. So I have made what I call a happy list of all the things I think I really like to do. For example, I like to eat, I like to train, I like to teach martial arts, I like to work in the garden, I like to paint, I like to do like various things, and these things are obviously sometimes they are not working, but at least it's more likely if I have this list that one of them would help me pass the time, more pleasantly, instead of calculating over and over and going into meltdowns and circular stress situations. Option B with God can decide to resolve this situation in a negative way. That means God is not a nice God, he's a terrible God. So in this situation, you are left with two options. Either you can, die, suicide, or not. So in the case of suicide, for this option, it makes no sense, because in this case, God is I don't know what's the opposite of merciful, a non-merciful God. And if you kill yourself, is anyway gonna beat you up, worse afterwards. So it doesn't make sense to die at that moment. Then you just left with living. And in this case, what do you do? I mean, I'd say then get out the happy list, because you have to pass the time anyway. So I'll take out the happy list. At least during this time I can do something more pleasant, and instead of sidetracking or thinking about non-stop about stuff, I can be doing something pleasant. So because I can't switch off. And option C is God is a God that doesn't control anything. He just lets everything run randomly. So in this case, it is best to follow the worst option, that is if God is bad. So, and in this case, just take out your happy list. So, and there you go. Then in case 2, where there's no God and it's just random evolution thing. So in this case, it's the same like when God doesn't control anything. So in this case, there we go, we use the same scenario or strategy, just take out the happy list, and there I have it. So in the case when people or something beyond my control is stressing me out into meltdowns and unhappiness, all I do is take out my happy list and use that. It is the more logical option to follow. It doesn't make sense for me to just switch off, because there's no reason just to switch off. So I cannot switch off. So I'd rather just do my happy list, and voila, there you have it, a list for all those stressing days.